Flamingzard here, back again once again, and today, I'm coming at you with my deck profile for my Autodeity army deck. Yes, I apologize that I haven't uploaded much in a while now because delays happened and missed packages happened. Let's just say that because I really do not want to explain. Anywho, yes, my deck is the Autodeity army, which is of course using the flag for chaos, and the buddy is Patrol Deleter Gear God version 88. I only chose him because it's how I got him from the two sets from the Dual Chest and the Chaos Control Crisis. So this deck is like a mix of that, and you will be able to see it. But chose him as a buddy because I have no choice on that, because I even did some research on the ban list and it literally cut it off big time on the Autodeity army, along with some of the Chaos and Thunder Emperor Fangs. So I might have to run my deck around that if I want to use this for the tournaments, which I do not mind. Now, let's get started with the cards. The main ones you want to use are 3 copies of, well, for what I run, is 3 copies of Autodeity Army Chaos Bots. Eventually, I'm going to have one more of him and use him as the buddy instead of Gear God 88. Because he's really good. If you want to build an Autodeity Army deck, or just like a Chaos deck, just to make the Gear God complete, this is the card you want to use. It's the main synergy for any Chaos cards, and it actually helps it out big time. So that's why I like running him. Next, I run 1 copy of Gemini Upgrader Gear God version 1000. This is the card that got hit from the irregular list, from the updated from around June 22nd. So this card has been hit big time and it's down to 1 copy. So I have to use 1 copy for this. His effect, it's really good just to call him out, paying 3 gauge top card into the soul, and for its overkill, just to discard during the main phase. Instantly add an equip item directly from the deck, and just special summon a monster without paying its call cost for free. So this can help out just to have Chaos Struggle Royale instantly without paying the call cost, and then Chaos Bots, then Struggle Royale will kick in first since the item was equipped first. You can just draw additional card and use Bots' effect to call in any of your Autodeity armies you want. This is not like my final build, so you're going to be seeing some changes around on this deck maybe. And now running 4 copies of the buddy, the Gear God version 88. I only run him because it's just good. Due to it when it enters the field to call a size 3 or less a chaos monster from the drop zone without paying the call cost. So you can recycle this if you have Chaos Terra in your drop zone and just call this one out and let this effect to special summon the Chaos Terra from the drop zone for free. And yes, this deck is kind of like a cycle based. Then for its overkill, pretty good. If I don't draw the Gear God version 1000, I rely on 88 more for that. Next up, I have 1 copy of Chaos Terra. Definitely love Chaos Terra. Chaos Delta. Definitely love him. Just to attack, top 2 into the gauge. It's just that simple. You can easily just do a lot of crazy combos with him. Next, I run 1 copy of Chaos Terra. Reason for him is just good effect to redirect the opponent's attacks to him, and when there's another Autodeity army, gains a plus 4,000 power in the defense, so it becomes a 9/2/9 instantly. And it's going to be like a little complicated for the opponent to do that, but to run through this, but who knows. Sorry about that. And you run one copy of Evil Sword Dragon, Demon's Chaos Dragon. I only run him just to do that final additional rush. For using Bots' effect to pay the gauge, paying the life to special summon this. Effected from the special summon, it gains penetrate and double attack. Each time it attacks, gain a life. So you gain your additional 2. Yeah, 2 life from 2 attacks. Now, this one, it might seem a little weird, but it's kind of good. I run one copy of Chaos at Daryl Burke. Definitely good because enters the field, top 3 cards of the deck. Pick them on them into the hand and the rest of the drop zone. I run them just for that synergy. I might add a bit more of him just to make that ultimate Autodeity army deck that I want to build. Just to make it absolutely, like, stupidly broken, or like, in some video from the credit to Nexus Corp for building that deck, and it's really awesome. Like, they made the Autodeity armies like stupidly broken, and then they made for the Thunder Emperor's Fangs that crazy strong. Anywho, next up, one copy of Chaos del Diablos. Literally love this. Just for that additional quick attacks. And when there's no cards in the soul, a plus 2,000 power, 2,000 defense, and a plus 1 crit. So that's instantly a 9/2/9 for like Terra. But with the triple attack and lifelink 3, which, oh well, for the lifelink. It's a part of an ancient world thing, so I can't blame them for doing that. Anywho, I only run one copy of this because it's just not that usable for my build for Autodeity armies, from making just a rush and then just back switch to instantly of a defense. So I run one copy of Cavalry Dragon Mech, Chaos Begale Bide. I only run one of him because this deck build is not just all about rushing, like some Autodeity army decks that people use in a metaphor. This one, I just only run one just to put it on top of my monster. Enters the field, another Autodeity army. Put a card from a soul to the drop zone, deal 1 damage, and then card in the soul gets a plus 1 crit penetrate, so 7/3/7 with double attack. He's kind of that good for that rush build that I want. But now for the synergy charges, 4 copies of Chaos Glow. Misfiring Mech, Chaos Glows. Definitely run 4 of him. Just to kind of like a globe effect, kind of like the original Thunder Emperor Fangs' globes effect to charge an additional draw. But with him, it's just charge, and when it's destroyed, attacks and destroys opponent's monster, destroy an additional. Just for that kind of a particular reason why I run him. For the gauge build wise. Next up, 4 copies of Chaos Fanning. Definitely good if I don't have the set spell out, just to prevent the cards from being rested. My cards are from being rested by opponent's card effects. Abilities cannot be nullified as well, so this is kind of like my just in case stop for the opponent. But if I already have the set spell out, I just use this as a gauge fodder for that. Next up, 2 copies of Chaos Orcerus Cleanse. This one I just use enters the field, 2 monsters and a spell from the drop zone to the bottom of the deck in any order. Top card in the deck into the gauge, life, and draw. Gain 1 life and draw. Definitely love it. I might add more copies of this one because of that effect. It kind of like an Osiris effect, Chaos Osiris effect, to enter the field of left and right, charge and draw. But this one's kind of like a little bit more better than Osiris, so I might run 4 copies of him. Finally, for the monsters, which is 25, 1 copy of Chaos Murder. I might run this for my Black Dragon deck in the future with Death Count Requiem. This one is just good. It enters the field, top 4 cards of the opponent's deck to the drop zone, and it gets a +1 creative for each monster among them. So with that 5, he could be an 8, 6, 7. It's like a huge beat stick for that. So sometimes I might use him if I really need to for the other stuff. Well, I had to clear my throat for there a second. Now for the spells. For the 1 defense spell, 2 copies of the Black Autodeity Awakening. Autodeity's Awakening. Just a good card, just to nullify the attack, and if I don't have any like cards, just to recycle my Chaos Terra, I just add Terra to the hand from this effect, and just do that, recycle for that 1, which I will have more copies of Chaos Terra. So this deck is not official. Next up, we have 2 copies of the Assault of the Autodeity's Army. Autodeity Army. Kind of like a bot's X-Link in some sense, but it's just good enough for it to do some stuff. I only run 2 because it's not like really needed when this deck it can just increase the gauge a bit quicker. Now for the good spell you want to add, the set spell that I would highly recommend is Parasite Yggdrasil. All the size 3s, it cannot be destroyed by opponent's card effects. And when this card is destroyed, put up to 1 monster from the drop zone to the hand. So you can easily just recycle this if you wanted to. And this isn't the fact that you only has to remain 1 on the field. You can set all 4 of these, and you can just have that massive protection. And then if they're being destroyed, you can just add like 1, and then the other 3 can remain, and that it can be cycled up until there's only 1 remaining for that card effect for the size 3s. Which is why I run size 3 of this, because especially with the flag that protects by size 30 or more, size 30 or higher. So I can, from a card effects and all that. So Yggdrasil is a good card you would really need for your Autodeity armies, your Chaos builds, any kind of deck that falls around all size 3s. This card is only good for that, especially for the Legend world. So I would recommend that. Next up, the good card that it's good for that recycle. This is why I added, because of the recycle effect. 3 copies of Selfish Purification. Just to with it, all it just does, the 3 cards, Chaos cards, are from the drop zone to the bottom of the deck in any order, and gain 3 life. So it's just a free life gain. It's just for that. And it can recycle any other cards that you really need back. Let's say, for example, for the Chaos bots, if you have it in a drop zone, you can activate Purification, add it to the bottom of the deck, and you could just recycle. Or just use, or if bots is not in the drop zone, but Chaos Terra, and I don't have any cards to cycle with it, Selfish Purification helps it out. Next, 1 copy of Chaos Signal. Definitely good when I might add more than 1 copy of this because of that instant activate, no call cast cost, and it can instantly just special summon another Terra or any other Autodeity armies from the deck, and then the deck shuffled afterwards. Next up, 1 copy of Absolute Armor. Definitely good just for the size 3 or greaters on the field. It will be destroyed from a destruction, like from battle basically. Prevents it. So I might maybe run more of that, but not sure. Next up, 2 copies of Chaos Wall Healing Barrier. Just a good card for the nullifying. Just to nullify the attack, 3 or more monsters on the field, gain life. And this is my first deck that I actually run with a side deck. Next up, 2 copies of Forced. Finally, the 2 copies of Forced Summoning Shasala. Which is cast during the attack during the opponent's turn. Nullify the attack if it's not a link attack. So I run of that. And give me a second. Okay, sorry about that. And let's continue. 1 copy for the items. 1 copy of Chaos Drago Royale. I might add. I'm definitely going to be having more copies of this. Just for that have that draw search. Just for that draw power. Then 3 copies of Autodeity Armor Chaos Finger. Just only good for. It's only good just as a just an item since I don't have any more copies of Chaos Drago Royale. Just to tag it even a monster in the center, and it could do a double attack. That's the only main reason why I add this. Now for the impacts. 2 copies of Deity Lance, Chaos X Tempest Buster, the main impact you want to run. And I only added this one just for the particular reasons. 2 Directive Code Forced Reboot. Definitely run him. But I might run this impact as a side deck option. Because it just restands all the chaos on the field, including the item, and it gives it additional battle phase. So you can wreck house with this. So this deck is kind of like a rush build, but at the same time, it's just that destructive a bit much. Now for the side deck. This is not my option for a side deck build. You can choose if you want to or not, but it's up to you. I run 3 for the side deck, 3 copies of Flaming Dragon Mech, a Chaos Linear. Just kind of like a Boomerang Dragon effect from Dragon World, just to return it to the hand and just recycle that process to give it additional attacks. Next, 2 copies of Population Reduction. Just for that drop zone, pay to life, and then draw 2 cards. Kind of that additional for the chaos. Next, Disparities of Worlds. Chaos on the field. It would leave the field. It remains. And then if 2 or more monsters on the center, put the top card of your deck into the gauge. Kind of that good synergy. And finally, 1 copy of Chaos Wall Barrier of Havoc. Definitely run this. Just for your main defense cards if you're running for mostly of the chaos ones, because just kind of like basically a blue dragon shield that you want to use for this. But yeah, that's basically it. That's going to be it for my deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed this deck as much as I did, because this deck is just revolves around it just to have that destructive, have that a bit of defense, and then at the same time, recycle. That's the kind of a deck that you want to build based around on. That's what kind of a deck you want to build around for anything. So for this deck, you just want to have some recycles. If you want to build the deck the way I do, or use my deck as your guide for any of your situations, go right ahead. If you have any suggestions on the other cards I should add for the Autodeity Army deck, like the Chaos Infinite Flag, Ultimate Gear God Complete, just anything in general. Any card that you guys think it would be good for this deck, comment below. I'm not that shy, and I'm willing to even give tries to your options if you guys have any. So, that's it for the deck profile. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day. Flamingzard here. I'm out.